This is one of the more difficult things here, Frank, because the general feeling among the fan base, and certainly myself, he's not a point guard. And it makes way more sense to move him off the ball. He can defend multiple positions. From a size standpoint, he can handle it. I mean, yes, even with Jalen Green, I think you can move him small forward with 6'6". He's got the size and everything that you would need as a small forward. I'm a believer that point guards and leaders, they're born, they're not created. You can't just like go, okay, here, go out, be a leader, be a point guard. Do you 100% agree with what I'm saying? And if so, is there any way the Rockets or KPJ would go for this after doing this year-long experiment?
I agree with what you said. I do agree. I share that thought. It's like to me, I see a point guard, and if we're gonna do the semantics, I know there's a lot of definitions out there, but the way I view a point guard on a team is the guy that is gonna initiate your offense and be the most dominant ball handler and kind of set the pace of the team. So as we know in the current NBA, there's a lot of variations of guys that initiate offense and do that. But so for Kevin Porter, can he be? I guess the question we're trying to ask is, can he be the guy that you trust to dictate the shots that every other guy gets, dictate the pace that you play with, dictate the offensive sets you get into, and not just in a game in March, but let's say in a playoff series. And that question to me is still open. I'm not going to marry the name point guard to him, but to me, he's grown a little bit in that aspect. I think he's grown as a basketball player a lot this season, just overall in his defense, and we see him get more comfortable throughout. But as far as those things that I look at when I watch him play, is his pace, decision making, how fast he initiates, shot selection, when to get guys involved, and when to go put his foot on the gas and score. And I still think he struggles in that department. And what people equate with him doing well as a point guard is him just scoring. If he scores, and to me, that's where he's best suited, when he's a scorer, and then he can create off of that. But that doesn't serve the general team that the same impact that a traditional point guard would have. So I still think that jury's still out. I think the team they should explore it more. But in the meantime, I think there are other guys on the team that would be able to provide some of those services if he's not able to do it. Like I said, teams do it different ways. The Spurs, for example, they had a bunch of high IQ players that were able to initiate at different points of the game, depending on what the situation was. The Warriors, Steph Curry is not a traditional point guard, but I do trust him with the pace and all that stuff. But Draymond was their guy. So if maybe Alperen can become that in the future, or they get a guy that could be on the court with Kevin Porter, with Jalen Green, with Alperen, and still allow them to be themselves, but help them with that pace and do all those little things, those nuances of the position that you were referring to, then I think he can coexist as a ball dominant guard. But like I said, the jury's still out.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.